So we're in what's called a Blackboard Collaborate. Go ahead and give me a check mark if you've ever been, a yes or a no, if you've ever been to an interface like this before. Oh, cool. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so that means we're going to kind of speed along then. That's good. If you have an internal mic, you definitely want to go ahead and set up your audio wizard. Lauren, I'm assuming you'll help me out with the chat box again. So Lauren will be kind of monitoring the chat box as I move along, and she said she will. So feel free to, at any time, raise your hand or use the chat box, but we'll talk a little bit about that more in just a second. So first, I just want to kind of begin with the end in mind. The goal of this virtual meeting is really just to make sure we have a shared understanding of the goals and the deliverables for ECI 509. I want to provide a little more of an overview of some of the specific course deliverables, as well as the kind of scope and sequence of the course, as well as kind of outline some strategies and tools to make sure that you all are having a great ability to collaborate with each other. Go ahead and give me, again, a check mark if these seem like reasonable goals for our meeting tonight. All right, fantastic. So here we go on record speed. It doesn't seem like you guys seem to be kind of ahead of the learning curve. So you are already kind of using all these. I just want to make sure that you're familiar with all the different aspects. This is where you raise your hand. You guys have already been using the poll. Here are your emoticons. Here are the devilish emoticons that me and Mark were using. And obviously, you can always use the microphone. If you raise your hand, I will turn the microphone over to you. You want to click that button, say your spiel, and then unclick the talk button when you're done. Okay? So just for fun, I always love this part. You also have a set of interactive whiteboard tools. Your whiteboard is right here. So go ahead and grab some tools over here. Grab something, anything. And go ahead and write on that board just like that. Put a sticker on there. Make your mark. Go ahead, have fun. Let's all be kindergartners for like about 30 seconds. You see what whiteboards do what make us do? Instant kindergarten. I love it. Oh, look at you guys. You're going crazy. That's awesome. All right. Well, you guys are probably familiar with that. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew. Oh, I love that cat, rabbit, kitten, rabbit. Not sure what that is, but it's adorable. All right. So you guys get it, obviously. Tons of fun. How cool is this? So let's kind of move on. And again, I just want to reiterate that throughout this virtual meeting, please don't hesitate to use your raise your hand button to interrupt me, to get my attention so that I can call on you and you can take the mic. Or if you're not set up with a mic tonight, feel free to go ahead and type in the chat box anytime you have a question, comment, or concern. And Lauren will probably address those and maybe she'll bring them to my attention as well. So again, please use these features in order to get my attention or stop me so that you can get your question answered. All right, give me an emoticon to let me know how you're feeling so far. All right, good. All right, here we go. But I'm going fast, right, Lauren? Last time, it's already only 5 minutes after, and I'm already on slide 4. It's awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use that pen mark again. What I'd like to know is, like, where are you right now? Like, where are you actually joining us from? So I'm right here in Wake County. Where are you? All right, we got a lot more contingent from the west. We didn't hardly have but one person out west before. Got some people in the sort of sort of southwest of our state. We didn't have anybody from that neck of the woods last time. Got some Wilson County, some Chatham County. I'm assuming that's you, Lauren. Are you the one in Chatham County? Um, got some Duplin, it looks like, some Lenore. Yep, so Lauren's in Chapel Hill, lucky duck. All right, so I guess that, this is, again, I'm just sort of like both like letting us have a little fun as well as modeling like the potential that, these kind of interactive whiteboard spaces can afford us. And I also think it's just kind of cool to sit and think that we're hundreds of miles away from each other, but yet we're all connected in this space. So I always think that's a fun activity to do, to kind of position ourselves about where we are. Oh, she said she's in the Bull City. I'm sorry. I was putting you in Chatham County. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So that's just kind of fun. People are writing. Y'all are going crazy. Y'all fun. Y'all a good group. Last group, I couldn't get them to do anything. All right. No, they did do some stuff. I shouldn't say that. That's terrible. All right. Here we go. So let's get down to it. Okay. The real reason why y'all are here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I know I'm going to have to talk at you just a little bit. I will definitely take purposeful pauses to invite you to ask questions as we move through, but I'm just going to kind of do my spiel and then make sure that that's clear, and then we'll just move through these slides. So, all right, so the first thing I really want to cover is just basic course flow. First of all, I can tell that many of you, I'm able to see how many times links get hit in our Moodle. So I can tell that lots and lots of you guys are coming through and you're definitely looking at everything. And that's really what your best bet is. In order to really understand how this course works, you got to get in there and click on everything. Just as a reminder, the course runs from a Wednesday to a Tuesday. Our orientation was a little bit different just because the semester started on a Thursday. And so in general, you almost always have 2 assignments. Sometimes there will be a forum associated with the point 1 assignment, and there's generally always something that you need to be doing for the point 2 assignments, and we'll talk a little bit more specifically about what that is. But again, I want to make sure, I know you guys are busy, you're in-service teachers, you have family, you have friends, you might want to actually, I don't know, go out once in a while, get some rest once in a while. So I definitely want to make sure the course week runs, I call it the week, the session runs over the weekend so that you have a little bit of breathing room to get some of these assignments done. So I'm going to go ahead and take a pause here. Either raise your hand or chat in the chat box if you have a question about basic course flow. All right, good news. All right. No real questions. Okay, so what do you mean by real questions? Do you have some fake questions, Laurel? Go ahead and chat your question into. Oh, I'm a math teacher, so you're being literal. Okay, I get it. All right. If you have any further questions, Laurel, go ahead and just ask in the chat box, and Lauren will take care of it. In terms of due dates, I think I'm pretty clear. First of all, I've loaded every single due date into the calendar. Phew, that took me a long time. So every assignment is actually listed in the calendar when it's due. But in general, the way it works is the first assignment, if it has a forum attached to it, is due on Sunday. There's a couple reasons for that. One, I want to give you the time and space to get it done, your original post by Sunday. But I also want to give people time to reply to you on Monday and Tuesday. Now, that's not to say that you have to wait until Sunday to post. You can post early. You can post anytime. You do need to be replying to people all during the week. But what I'm trying to avoid, though, is this is really a socially mediated learning community, okay? So what I don't want you doing is I don't want you to come to the course on Saturday, do your post, reply to 2 folks, and then that's the last we see of you, right? Healthy online learning communities post early and post often. You're welcome to post early. Everything is open in the course. You do want to do your replying during the week of the actual session because we want that conversation to be current. So that's kind of how point 1 assignments work. Point 2 assignments are generally, there may be a couple of exceptions, but I doubt that, They're generally due on the Tuesday of each week or the session, and that's usually the last day of the week or of our session. And that's just because I want to give you a little more extra time to get that point two assignment done. Again, both the forum and your, or the point one, if it has a forum, has a rubric, as well as all of your point two assignments have rubric, and that's just a yes no rubric. Later on in the course, I want to say it's December 5th. Here I go. I didn't even look it up from last time. I want to say that your capstone is due December the 5th. And then we have an exhibition of your capstones, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, on December 11th. That's in general the due dates. That's all pretty well spelled out for you in the course, but I want to pause and ask, are there any questions about due dates? Raise your hand or chat in the chat box. Okay, great. Give me a check mark so I can know you're all alive and breathing. Okay, cool. All right, so here we go. Now let's just kind of dive into the major assignments, or minor and major assignments. So forums. I was very purposeful in only assigning 6 forums in this course, but I really want you to pay attention to that forum rubric. It is a holistic rubric. I am absolutely looking for graduate level work here. You will be citing your learning materials, the text, the video, website, any of the learning materials that were shared with you in the point one assignment of that week. I really want to see a very heavy-handed synthesis and application of your learning in that forum. So you may want to take time to prepare those ahead of time. I really highly suggest you prepare those in a Google Doc, because you do not want to be composing your original response in the forum itself, in the editing window, because if you take too long, it will time out and you will lose your work. So you may want to get ahead on your reading, and you may want to start working on composing those 6 forum posts, because those are the serious graduate level writing assignments that I'll be looking for. Any questions about forums? Okay, so let's kind of move on to now sort of the more minor assignments. Often we are asking that we're going to be using Twitter. Your Twitter account is at your username, and that's sort of like your private room. And then you can create like sort of living rooms by using a hashtag. So our hashtag is #MobileNCSU. You are not required to follow anybody. Who you follow and who you don't follow in Twitter is your business. But when you are looking at the hashtag, you want to make sure that you select view all and not just who you follow, or you may not see the whole stream. One of the things that we were trying to be really innovative in this course, but one of the things that Lauren and I had to problem solve the other day is, you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And what we realized is although we do invite you to work ahead in the course, and I do honestly mean that, the whole course is open, the one exception of working ahead is sort of when you tweet. Some weeks we will ask you to, tweet out your link to your Tumblr. Sometimes we'll ask you to tweet out the link to a video. Sometimes we'll ask you to tweet out to your decision that you've made about an app, whatever. Again, those are usually point two assignments, so they're due on Tuesday. So we're kind of asking you that you don't really tweet your answer much before Saturday, before it's due. Because what happens is after about 5 days, old tweets in our hashtag will fall out, and there will be no way for Lauren, who will be the mainly responsible for checking out that you have posted to your Tumblr, that you have posted to your Twitter. So we want to be cautious, and we don't want to tweet too far ahead. You can do your Tumblr ahead, you can do your forums ahead, you can do everything else, but don't actually tweet any longer than 5 days from when it's due. Give me a check mark if that makes sense, as well as if you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand or chat in the chat box. Okay, great. No questions about Twitter. And again, if something comes up, if you know, as I'm trying to I'm trying to move us along at light speed here because I've been here all day. I've been here. It'll be about 12 hours and about 15 minutes. So I'm trying to move us along, and I know you guys have had a long day. So if something else comes up, don't hesitate to go ahead and raise your hand or chat in the chat box. So let's talk about your Tumblr assignments. So I've already said that you're going to do sort of your more graduate level where you're actually doing citing, you know, parenthetical citing, when you're referring specifically to the learning materials in the forums. Well, I kind of have the opposite of what I want your Tumblr activity writing to be. I really want that to be a much more relaxed and reflective time for you to be writing. Now, you do need to answer all the questions that we ask you to address in your Tumblr, but I don't want you to feel like that how you write in your Tumblr, you know, is at graduate level. That's just really for you to just be reflective and synthesize your thinking for that week. And you know, you just want to make sure that you do that. And I just don't want that to be a high pressure assignment. So we also have asked you to turn in your Tumblr account and your Tumblr URL. You need to make sure your Tumblr blog is public, and you also need to share with us your Twitter username so that we can actually find who you are and make sure that you're doing the assignments. Any questions about Tumblr? Michael, excellent question. Unfortunately, no. The College of Ed at North Carolina State University has adopted the APA, American Psychological Association. You want to, I'm sorry, you're talking to a PhD, ex-PhD student here. So yeah, you want to get out that 6th edition. Lauren, can you go and find the URL for Al Purdue APA? It's a great resource, and if you could put that in the chat box, that would be great. Listen, Lauren's going to put a link in there. I pretty much survived my PhD using this Al Purdue APA site. But guys, no, graduate school, sorry. Education, sorry, has to be APA. So unfortunately, good question, but no. If she's not able to get that link, I will put it in there in a minute. There it is. I'm telling you, that saved my life. Now, I do have the 6th edition too, but you can get by with just using the Al English Purdue APA guide. It's updated. It's awesome. All right. Questions for Tumblr? If you have them, go ahead and raise your hand. If I'm going to keep moving. So let's move on to what I want to elevate are some collaborative assignments. One of the major goals for this course, and the way I really, when I thought about how I wanted it designed and the kinds of activities, is that I really wanted us to really engage in the 4 C's. We want our kids to be doing it, but we need to be doing it. So we want to be engaging in critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and now I'm going to think the last one. See, I'm so tired. Creating, collaborating, communicating, and critical thinking. Okay. So you will be doing a lot of collaboration, and the first one is coming up pretty soon. It's an assignment 3.2. The way that works is we really want you to go through an exercise of actually evaluating a device. And so you in your house, I will refer to your local cohort or the people that you're actually in school with as your local house, the people that you're going through this program with. And so what we'd like you to do in assignment 3.2 is just pick one of the devices that you may own among you. So some of you may have an Android, some of you may have an iPhone, some of you may have an iPad. You need to pick one of those, just one, and decide which one you're going to do your evaluation on, but it's a collaborative effort. There's a huge document that you need to there's a huge document where you need to publish a huge Google Doc that you'll be filling out in a collaborative manner. Elaine, the Tumblr accounts, I think they're linked in assignment, I want to say 1.2 and 2.2 when you actually develop your Tumblr account, and when you there's a Google form, I think. And Lauren, you can maybe check that for me. But there are 2 places in those assignments that ask you to please click here to give us the information. So I would check out 1.2 and 2.2, right? Something like that. Yeah, Lauren's confirming that for me. Okay, so back to 3.2. So I want to make that a note because that's coming up really soon. You guys need to divide and conquer, and I want to make sure you understand that you're only doing a single device but all of you are going to be collaborating on how you evaluate that device. Another collaborative opportunity that you have is assignment 8.2. That week, we will definitely be going through, we'll be looking at surveying video and camera apps and apps that support uploads of those digital media. And you can do assignment 8.2 as an individual, okay, that is an option, but I would think it would be a lot more fun. What you'll be doing that week is you'll be creating an original image that represents either your individual or your group growth as a mobile educator, and then you'd be uploading that to like Instagram, and then you'll be tweeting that out, right? Because the app is Instagram. Or you guys as a group could create a video, maybe do a little skit, do a little music video, I don't know, have fun, make a video and upload that to Animoto or upload that to YouTube, and then you're going to be tweeting that out. So I wanted to give you heads up on those because those will actually require a little planning and a little thinking ahead of time to get those done. Any questions about those two assignments, 3.2 or 8.2? Again, all the directions are clearly spelled out in the Moodle. Okay, cool. And again, I know you don't know what you don't know if you haven't, gotten into these. And so that brings us sort of to the last big hurdle. I want to just kind of briefly, in assignment 5.3, the directions for your capstone or your final products are there in assignment 5.3. The first thing you need to note is that there's a link in assignment 5.3 that actually brings you to a wiki. What will happen is you want to go claim your space. Again, I refer to your local cohorts as houses. So someone's going to need to go to that wiki space and claim your house space by editing the wiki page and putting all your names in there. Then behind all that, you will actually have some templates that actually guide how you're going to be developing your capstone projects. Here's the kind of Reader's Digest version of it. One of the things that we're doing in this course is we are really looking at theory in the beginning unit, and then we do in the middle sort of a survey of apps. I mean, I really do want you to know what is all out there, but you're going to be considering it in light of your own discipline. So the capstone modules will be, as you're working your way through those apps, you might be considering what is the best app here that might actually support my student learning in math? Or what is the best app out of all the ones we've looked at that might actually support learning in science? And you're going to develop a module that actually kind of explains the app, the affordances of the app, the constraints of the app, in a given content area. So you would do a math module, an English module, science module, social studies module, or if you have someone in, say, CTE or world languages as part of your house, then you would just use the other module. So you're going to be creating a total of 4 modules. Again, there's an example on that wiki, as well as each of those modules are templated out for you. So once you create all of those modules, then as a group, you are going to create an integrated lesson. You must leverage the literacy app. And again, I wouldn't relegate the language arts person to do that module. I would suggest that you switch. Maybe the science person does the literacy app and vice versa. But in your integrated lesson, you will absolutely leverage the literacy app because all teachers are responsible for the teaching of reading. And then you would integrate all of the other apps into one big group lesson. But what we want to make sure is that we do differentiate. So if, let's say, the math and science person really want to go off and do their own lesson, then they would have to use the literacy app that's in the literacy app module, as well as their science and their math, and they could write their own lesson, and then the other part of the house would write their lesson. So I just want to make sure you either can do a whole big lesson together, but I also know that sometimes that's not possible, so you can and then you could write 2 smaller lessons. So that's it in sort of a nutshell. I will be holding the next virtual meeting that we have. I think it's scheduled, it'll be on the next couple of slides in October. And that virtual meeting will only be about the capstone project. You will only have to come if you have serious concerns, questions, or issues with creating the capstone. So it's kind of impossible for me to ask you if you have questions about the capstones because you kind of really don't know what you don't know yet. Unless, of course, if you do have a question about the capstone, if you've really looked at that assignment and you want to shout out that question now, that it would be fine. So are there any questions? If not, I'm just going to move on. All right, give me a check mark so I know you're all alive. Okay, awesome. Okay, so again, you definitely want to be looking at that capstone instruction assignment 5.3. That's where you get all the directions and all the rubrics for how to do that. And then again, I will hold a virtual meeting about a week or so after you would go through 5.3 so that I can address your concerns then. So now that kind of turns to something that I just want to make sure that I put out there. Guys, I was in the classroom for over 10 years, and I remember having Will Richardson's blogs, wikis, and RSS feeds like in my lap, reading how to set up my first blog. I have lost all of my students' emails. I have had everything that could possibly go wrong go wrong. I've definitely like gone through that transition into a one-to-one laptop room. And one of the things I want to make sure is that I don't want the message sent into this class that, just because we are like surveying a bunch of apps, the reason we're doing that is I just want you to have an idea of what's out there. But I always want you to consider the app in terms of your own content and how it would best support student learning. So it's not about knowing 50 different apps. It's about maybe knowing a handful that you really leverage well in your classroom. When I'm working with teachers all across the state, I really want you to always consider your content. What do you want kids to know first? Then your pedagogical approach, like what's your method or your strategy? Are you going to do whole group learning? Are you going to use a KWL, a think, pair, share? You consider those two things first, then, and only then, do you then think about what technology or app might support that outcome. So content and pedagogy in the foreground, technology in the background, and I just want to make sure that that is clear, even though we are going over a lot of tools. Can you give me an emoticon about how you feel about that message? Okay, cool. Any questions at this juncture? Raise your hand if you want to take the mic or chat in the chat box. All right, so I kind of already talked to you about the wiki. I just want to say a few more things about that. The main reason we're having you produce stuff on the wiki is because, listen, I want you to have access to all of your great creations that you guys are going to make over the course of this semester. So you're going to put all that hard work into those 4 modules, as well as that great integrated lesson or 2 integrated lesson, depending on what your group decides. And we also, I was talking with Neil Kimmery, our state ed tech director, and the principals are also going through sort of an impact cohort, and we might invite them, he might invite them to go ahead and look at your modules and think about how they might evaluate them. So we want to be really transparent. And I also just want you to have access to that great work and to each other's forever and ever and ever. That wiki is never going to go away. And so that's why that's created there. So finally, again, I've already really emphasized there's a lot of collaborative work that you all are going to need to do. Sounds like you all are pretty set that. From our other group, we sort of understand that a lot of you are in the same building with each other, but I do want you to be thinking about how will you actually facilitate collaboration. Are you using Skype? Are you guys going to set up a Facebook page? How are you going to share documents? Are you going to do Google Docs? Are you going to use Dropbox? Does email work? Does the phone work? And is it possible that you guys might connect face to face? So give me a check mark if you guys are set on the methods that you might employ to use a collaborate in this class. Sweet. You guys are like a well-oiled machine. Have I told you all that lately? All right, so here we go. Last and final slide. All right, guys, so many of you have already, I think Yvette was one of the first people, I think it was you, Yvette, was one of like the very first people in this course that added me or requested me, invited me to be a contact in Skype. I am Lisa Hervey. You can find that in my signature in my email as well as listed in the syllabus, just Lisa Hervey together. Lauren will go ahead and type that in there, as well as she'll type in her Skype email. So if I'm on my computer, my Skype is on. If my Skype is off, then it means I'm presenting or I'm in a meeting, but generally it's always on. If you see me in Skype, then IM me if you have a quick question. And then if you need to talk with me, just ask me, is this a good time for us to chat? Because I love Skype because I can screen share. So like if you're struggling with something, like I can actually show you my screen via Skype. So that's a great tool. So you can IM me anytime you see me in Skype. You can always email me, and gosh darn it, you can pick up that good old phone and give me a call if need be. But specifically, I will absolutely, no matter what is going on, I will make myself available on Skype on Wednesdays from 3:30 to 5. So even if I'm in my car, I'll turn my Skype app on in my phone so that I can address any of your concerns. I already talked about the tentative date that I have scheduled for our next virtual meeting that will really focus on just addressing capstone issues is October the 2nd. And that's because you will have had an opportunity to really work through 5.3, and hopefully you're getting a better idea of what you're going to be doing. And on a final note, I just want to make sure that you guys know that water cooler forum, that forum that's in the center of our course, guys, that is not my forum. You are more than welcome to click on that add discussion topic. You don't just have to reply to mine or Lauren's discussion topics. That is your forum. So if you have a question, you have a concern, you need help, go ahead and use that forum to grab our attention, and maybe we can all, hard work is made light by the hands of many. So we want to make sure that we are using that social forum. So I am going to turn it over. I don't know if you have a question, Ashley, or if I just didn't clear out your thing. But for now, if you have any questions, any concerns, please raise your hand or um, or type it in the chat box. Elaine, I haven't decided that. You guys tell me, does this 2-time option beneficial to y'all? Give me a check mark if you think it's beneficial to offer 2 times for a virtual meeting on October 2nd. Yeah, Ashley says yes. Okay. Tony, assignments are due at midnight. I know that's a little confusing because I say 12 a.m., which technically could be Saturday night, but no, I actually want to give you the entire weekend to get your stuff done. So all assignments are due on midnight, and so it's either Sunday at midnight or Tuesday at midnight. Those are really the only times they're due. Does that make sense, Tony? Okay, great. All right, any final questions, concerns? Now's the time. Chat it in the chat box, raise your hand. All right, guys, not seeing any questions come in. Look at that, 7:34. How awesome is that? I talked really fast, though. I know I did. I'm sorry about that. But I'm about to die. I'm serious. I've been giving PD to NC to DPI all day today, and I have 2 more days of it. So it's been a long day. I know it's been a long day for you all. Again, this is just an exciting opportunity in this course. I'll turn it over to Lauren for any final comments. And again, thank you all very much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join us here. And Lauren, I'll turn it over to you for any final comments.
Nothing much, just want to say thanks. I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy that you're all here. This is going to be a really fun, a really exciting semester. And I'll let you all go. I know everybody's exhausted. We say you too. You're great. And again, if anybody needs me, you can get me online via email, Skype, whatever works for you. And look forward to interacting with you more. All right. Have a good night, y'all.
All right. Good night, everyone. Good night, everybody, and safe travels. Bye. Toodles, Mike. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate that. Thanks for all of you guys for supporting each other. That's awesome. Good night, Susan, unless you have any questions for me.